Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European Indices for Thursday, September the 30th, and we'll just start with the FTSE and get this out of the way first. So it did appear that we have 5 waves in this move through here, and in some of the other markets we've got, like the STOXX 50, the move up counts better as 3 waves. So there's a variety of things sort of happening. It does appear from the low here that we do have a nice third wave, fourth wave and fifth wave as an impulse wave to the upside. That means that it can pull back to the 50-60% and then move up again. So if we take that high there, it may not move back this far, but where are we in here? So there, back to where we get in. So the other point here, this here is the corrective pattern. So that means that we should be taking out these highs here. So we don't want to turn it into a loss either. So I think what we can do is take a percentage here, and then we can move back in when we're ready. So we can look, copying at that, and I'll put that above there. So take some money off the table now, and because we want to kind of keep the stop nice and tight within reason as well, so we'll just do that. I mean, the main point is we don't want to turn a winner into a loser. So that's at 750 there, that 61.8%. So we don't want to put it at 48. So we have to come down to 46 or 42. So because we've taken money off the table at the top, we can afford to come down to 42, 7,042. So I'll just leave that there. And there's probably going to be some swings in here. I don't know if it's going to come down this far, but it certainly could before pushing higher. I mean, what else? There was also, I mean, that's the top there, but we do have a little maybe that could play out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think that's okay. It's a bit touch and go with all of that. So let's just see if this is wave 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, 5 for heading a little bit further up. Let's have a look at, I think I want to have a look at the STOXX 50 first, because just had a better count in a way. So the move up through here counts better as a 3-wave move, as a corrective move. This move down here so far also counts as an A and a B and a C. It is rather low compared to this here, so it has pulled back a lot. I've also got that little wave 4 in there, so we just need to be mindful of that. So if we take that level there, we can see that the 38.2% comes in on that high there. So it is also possible to have have wave 5 come down here, because that's not really an impulse wave so far. It's like it's in 3 waves, an A and a B and a C wave up here. So it could be a wave 4 and drop down lower at that point. Okay, so we'll need to be mindful of that. It's also possible, I mean, this is where this is the complication sort of thing. So if we take that low here and that top there, that will leave the 61.8% on those previous lows. So that's all good to see. So we'll just pop that in there. It's also possible to look at this as the A wave here, the B wave in here, or the B wave might get a little bit more sort of complicated. We may get something, because it's not looking very impulsive, so some move down here and then a move to the upside here. We don't have a position in this market, so what I'm saying here is that we could have wave 4 down to wave 5. We can have an A and a B and a C to the 61.8% mark, and we can also have from wave B here, we could also move up to wave C in 5 waves as well. So I don't know which one is correct in all of this. I know that, you know, we're in wave 4 and we've got wave A in play. We could, I mean, this is the complication. We can also put wave B over here for that, you know, and then have wave C down here in 3 waves. So an A wave, a B wave and a C wave here for wave 4. So there's a whole lot going on here, and that's why it's a little bit tricky for me. I can only, if I see something on the intraday basis, we can move on that. Like if we had 5 waves here, then I could say, well, we're going to get a correction, we'll get another 5. And we could get another 5 anyway because of the A wave here. But because it's in 3, the wave 4 also plays a part and could move down into wave 5. So there's a lot. All I could really say here is that if the 41 becomes the support with a little classic trading levels pattern, well, then you can trade up to 41.40 or 41.50 or something into this box here. But once it meets the lower end of the supply level here, then that's kind of it. So that's 149 there. So it's going to start putting pressure on in that space. So I don't know what can come out of the box here with all of this. We are seeing the Asian markets push up, and we talked about them yesterday, didn't we, with bringing them in a little bit, and that kind of worked okay. And I mean, with the Asian market yesterday, we talked about, well, this is the Australian market here. We talked about in the European video, we talked about having this impulse wave here, and that we could also go long at that point in through here. There's also been a nice little setup on the top of the 72 there as well. But what I wanted to talk about here, though, is that let's just label these for a second, because I think that it's important. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a bit of a dodgy, probably to here actually. But do we put wave 4 here or here? Anyway, that's another issue, but it's not the one that really concerned me at the time. What I wanted to say here is, I mean, obviously this is Asia, but we had that 5 wave. So yesterday we thought we'd be pushing up for the Euro markets, which we did. But now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. I mean, I need to reconcile this and this one. That's probably 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So we'll probably end up pushing up to the 3 up there. But the point being is we have 5 waves here on this tick chart from the lows here. So that's the same as the Europe. We don't have it on the stock 50 here. We've got it on the FTSE. We'll have a look at the DAX in just a second or two. I just want to have a look at. I mean, maybe we could get 5 waves up. I would have to look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here, an A and a B and a C to here, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I'm not quite sure how we'd look at that. It looks a bit corrective. And this would be 1 and 2 in here, and this is the 3rd wave here, and 4th and 5th. So it's hard to get 5 waves out of that unless we look at that as the 3rd wave. So anyway, it's not that clear, but if we get support on that 41, then we'll be good to go at that point. This move down here looks like an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave with 1 and 2 building here, but I don't know what's going to build here. So 41 support would be the long trade for that. Let's have a look at the DAX now. So the DAX is a bit like the stock 50, of course. So it's in a bit of a rock and a hard place. We can count it up as 5 waves, but we'd have to count this as 1 and 2 in here, which is kind of a little bit small for the whole trend. So it could certainly be counted as wave A, well, as corrective here, as wave A or wave B here, or we need to put wave B over here for this. So that's also what we've been thinking as well, and coming down here. So we're only really halfway through all of this. The other little clincher in here, if that is wave B here, and we have 3 waves here, and that's wave B here, then this can be an A wave, a B wave to here, and then down for the C wave. So we're getting a 3 wave move in all of this. So it's also a little bit tricky as well. So I'm just going to cut through to the hourly chart here. So we can count like 1 and 2 here, but I just think that it's just a little bit sort of iffy, but still. So we could look at it as wave 1, an A and a B and a C for wave 2, coming back pretty close to the 50-60% mark here. This is the same as the stock 50. We've got that move up to, well, in this case to the 50% rather than the 48%, but I don't think it's such a big deal in this case. And the wave 4, 1 lesser degree, is a little bit smaller there as well. So we could view this as a wave 4 here. You know, that's the thing here. So if we had a nice clear 5 waves, well, then that would make it a little bit easier. But with Asia pushing up, that might follow through. I'm not sure what Japan's doing. That's probably a bit more important. So yeah, there's just too many options that can occur here. I can't give you a straight answer. That's the situation. So we could have an A and a B and a C to this point, and then also drop here. But having 5 waves up there, I suppose it's possible. We could look at that as 1 and 2 in here, then 1 and 2, and building to the upside. So it's possible. So we can go to there and fail, or we can go up to the old highs here as a C wave and then fail at that point. I really don't know. I mean, if you're going to short the market, it would have to be under this low here. But shorting it into a big number here, unless you're scalping, is sort of a bit of a rock and a hard place. So let's just go into the tick chart and check on it here. 30, 20 should be enough. So yeah, look, we can count as 1 and 2, but I'm not happy with that. And yeah, so having it as a corrective wave is probably more so probably the right thing to do rather than wave 1. But we just got to keep, you know, we've got to kind of leave it there until we can rule it out. The move down here, I have no problems with that as an A and a B and a C. But as I mentioned, that, you know, we could look at that as 1 and 2 here and down for the 3rd wave and the 4th wave, which hasn't really overlapped wave 1 here. And it's only come back to the 4th wave of 1 lesser degree, and, you know, the difference of 8% or 8.2%, the difference is not a biggie. Here, can we count that up as 5 waves? Yeah, we probably could actually, just looking at it. Let's go in and have a bit of a squizzy at that, shall we? I mean, I was just looking at it really quite briefly as 1 here and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here and 5 here. Now I don't know if that's the actual case, because I haven't pulled that apart, but that's pulled back nicely to its 50-60%. Let's just check on this other stuff here. We do have a long trade in here, but it's only half a position, and I have put the stop here to break even. We can obviously push that up a little bit higher. I think I'll just, first of all, I'll just shorten it. And I'm going to put it under this, so that shouldn't be breached at that point. Let's just see if that builds at that point or takes us out. If Australia is bullish, then this can be bullish. You could add to it at that point too if you wanted to. This appears to be corrective here. That's corrective, so that's probably the C wave. So going long above that would be the next step. You could probably bring that down, but getting support on 380 would be the right thing to do. I mean, we could also look at this as the A wave here, the B wave and the C wave here, because we've got overlapping wave structures here. That's why we could look at it as a B wave and the C wave down to this point, and then up for 1 and 2. So I'll just push that in there just to remind me. So yeah, that can be counted as impulsive to the upside there as well. So, but it could be a wave A or could be 1. Let's just go back and have a little bit of a look at it. Yeah, it's a little bit scruffy. But the other good news too, you know, it's sitting on top of Group 1 here, on top of the 300, so that's good. I mean, the only scary thing about this is the impulse wave down through here, but this has been pretty laborious sideways through here, so I don't think it's part of, I can't really see it as down for one here, an A and a B and a C here for that, because it's just got this extra leg in here now. So I think it's kind of bullish in a way, but I just don't know if it's I'm going to remove that out of the way, but I just don't know if it's wave 1 or wave A. So going with wave A at the front would be better at this point. So just to sort of recap a little bit, this move up here, even though we can count it as 5 waves, the stock 50 counts better as 3 waves, so we'll just treat it as put it as an A wave first rather than a wave 1. The situation here is that the move down here can be viewed as an ABC pattern, but it's still open to be wave 4 here as well, because it's not that clear that it's impulsive. If the market moves up to the 500 here, then it's not going to be wave 4 at that point, and then the A, the B and the C comes into play. And that's interesting because there's 2 things that can occur at that point. Would be, one of them is the 50-60% retracement level, so that would take us up a little bit higher into this space. That's not what we need, Pete. We need... So we could go so I'll just remove that there for a second, and we can either go an A wave, the B wave in here, and a C wave to that point. So we can go to there and fail, so just be mindful of that, okay? The other point, so that's a good place to take profit. The other point is that, well, this C wave could be in play if we look at it as wave 1 and wave 2 pulling back. But to do that, we'll just wait for a classic trading levels pattern sitting on this level here. That would be the only way I could really resolve it in a safe way, you know? So going long at that point again. And if that is the case, then we could go above this high here, because this would be the A, the B and the C. But I'm not that happy with this little spike being calling the spike as the top in there, because it puts, makes that the A, the B and the C. I mean, what about if that wasn't there? I mean, but then, the other point is, well, if that's not the low, it could be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to that point. But then that still leaves us with an impulse wave down here as well. So there's, it's all a little bit sort of, there's too many options, that's what I can see. And I can't nail down, one particular one that's got more bias than the other. Well, what we could say on the long side here, we're basically staying long and we've protected our position here. If the 300 becomes the resistance, then obviously it's bearish at that point, because from that low to that high here, this would be the 50-60% in here. So below that as resistance, you'd want to be on the short side at that point. So look, if you are trading long, then the 500 is the next place for that, and definitely take the money off the table and then work it back in at that point. There's going to be a correction here anyway. How big it gets, I don't know, but it's definitely the supply levels up here. It's just mirroring the volume at that point. Alrighty, so I'll just leave it at that. Let's just go back to the 4-hour chart or the 2-hour chart and just sort of rehash this a little bit. So yeah, this is what we talked about in the beginning, because first of all we know that this wave 3 here, it may be 1 degree smaller as well, but it really doesn't matter, because we're in some type of wave 4 correction. We are probably nearly 2/3 of the way through the correction. We know it's correction, and we will be making new highs because we're in 3 waves here. So that's one thing. We're in two-thirds of the way through it. I just don't know how this is going to play out. That's what I don't know. So I just need to leave that to the day traders. And if I can say that, well, Australia is pushing up, so Europe will probably follow to, when it opens or in the off hours or whatever. How far will it go? Will it just go to the 500 and collapse? or will it push up to the old highs here and then collapse at that point? Because there's more of a bias this being corrective than impulsive. Yeah. And we just got to watch that if it drops through the 300 here, as I mentioned, if the 300 becomes the resistance, then we're going to be coming down from that point there. There's a case for that. I mean, obviously it's going to bounce here as well, but it puts us into a different pattern at that stage. So, yeah, there's a few things that can occur here that, you know, I think this is kind of a reasonable one as well, because we're working in lots of threes. We don't normally work in lots of threes, but that would be something like that. I think that would be highly probable as well. And obviously you can see the 500's got really good resistance there. So, and it hasn't been tested, like it's dropped through. I mean, it came down through here and went back up and tested that supply, and now it's dropped through, so I can test the second level down before going lower, you know. Yeah. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. Yeah, just a rock and a hard place, really. Okay, cheers.